Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the more famous business scandals that have taken place in the last decade, the Wells Fargo banking scandal. If you're not familiar with it, a quick overview is between 2011 and 2016, Wells Fargo employees opened millions of unauthorized accounts in customers' name, pushing customers into financial products they didn't really ask for. The scandal led to massive fines and a damaged reputation and resignation of the top executives. So what can business leaders learn from this? I'll break it down for you. First off, corporate governance. This scandal highlights how crucial strong governance is. Leaders at the top of the company failed to put in place the right checks and balances, and the Wells Fargo was driven by unrealistic sales targets and aggressive performance exceptions. This created an environment where employees felt pressured to cross ethical lines to meet goals. Business leaders should take away that the governance structures need to support ethical behavior, not just profits. This includes a clear reporting system, transparency, and oversight from the board to hold everyone accountable. Now let's talk about leadership responsibilities. The executives at Wells Fargo failed to lead by example. They ignored the red flags and allowed toxic culture to thrive. The lesson here is that leadership sets the tone. A company's ethical standards start at the top. If leadership is focused on only profits and sales targets, it sends a message to the employees that achieving numbers is more important than doing the right thing. Business leaders should remember that their responsibility isn't just to shareholders, but customers, employees, and the society as a whole. Wells Fargo could have done a lot differently to avoid the mess, starting with the leadership's role in cultivating an ethical culture. A company's culture comes from the top, and if leadership had placed stronger emphasis on integrity and ethics, things might have been different. One thing they could have done is set realistic goals that align with customer interests, not just numbers. They should have encouraged transparency where employees felt safe speaking up about unethical practices without fear of retaliation. Having a strong, independent ethic officer and ensuring employees had clear avenues to report misconduct could have helped prevent the scandal from spiraling out of control like it did. And speaking of ethics, another key takeaway is the need for strong ethical policies. Wells Fargo could have implemented clearer guidelines on what constitutes acceptable behavior. It's not enough to have a vague ethics policy on the website. Those policies need to be actively integrated into the company's daily practices and reinforced by leadership. Another huge factor was accountability. Too often, people have lower levels of an organization took the fall, but the top executives escaped from unscathed for far too long. There should have been clear accountability mechanisms for senior leaders, ensuring they were held responsible for the company's culture and actions. This should have sent a much stronger message to employees about the company's true values. In the end, Wells Fargo scandals didn't happen overnight. It was a result of a long-standing culture where profits were prioritized over ethical decision-making. What could have saved them from the meltdown? It all comes down to aligning leadership, culture, and accountability by embedding ethics into every level of the company, ensuring everyone from the top to the bottom was held accountable. Wells Fargo could have avoided the entire mess if they just followed ethical rules. So to wrap this up, I discussed about prioritizing ethics over profits, leading by example, and holding everyone accountable. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.